Hello and welcome to Thursday's midday meditation. Today, I want to talk about a text from 1 Corinthians and chapter 9. I have posted a link in the event so you can go ahead and read the text, and I'm going to read it for you as well. So I'm reading verses 19 through 23. Paul says, "For though I'm free with respect to all, I have made myself a slave to all, so that I might win more of them. To the Jews I became as a Jew, in order to win Jews. To those under the law I became as one under the law, though I myself am not under the law, so that I might win those under the law. To those outside the law I became as one outside the law, though I'm not free from God's law, but I'm under Christ's law, so that I might win those outside the law. To the weak I became weak, so that I might win the weak. I have become all things to all people, that I might by all means save some. I do it all for the sake of the gospel, so that I may share in its blessings." So last week I talked to you about Paul's definition of freedom in light of relationships and community building. And we talked about what I call dangerous freedom. Today, Paul talks about responsible freedom. In the rest of the passage that we read last week, Paul will continue to redefine and recontextualize the concept of freedom. And he's writing to a community that is torn by divisions. So his message is both timely and timeless. Paul invites his listeners to live out the radical notion of fully identifying with others, to become as they are, to be Jew among Jews, a Gentile among Gentiles, weak among the weak, and all things to all people. He's not doing that for the sake of self-debasement, but he's modeling how to meet people where they are. So Paul is inviting his listeners to recognize what it means to move forward together, to explore someone else's truth. Now, he says that all of this is in order to win people to the gospel. One commentator said that when Paul says, to the weak I became weak, that weak can also mean sick. And when he says to win people, win can also be translated as heal. So Paul's concern in all of this is to allow people with their diversity to find a healing in the gospel that's being preached. And in order to do that, everyone must meet each other where they are. Yesterday, I had a conversation with a colleague who is a leader of a new worshiping community here in our Presbyterian. And I was just seeking advice and guidance from someone who's been doing this work successfully for a couple of years. And here are some words he sent me from his very recent research about evangelism and reaching out to young adults. So he wrote, I'm going to read his words: "People under 40, Gen Y and Gen Z, are hungry for community, belonging, and learning. They have spiritual hunger but are not religious. They reject traditional church. Doctrine, rules, process, pews make them feel trapped. Millennials want to experience God outside of the church box. They want spiritual freedom. According to Dr. Klaus Schwab of World Economic Forum, we are living in the fourth industrial revolution, 4IR, where artificial intelligence, nano and robot technologies, internet networks are constantly evolving and flourishing in the foundation of digital revolution. The most distinctive character of this era is how most effectively people can communicate and connect, creating infosphere in a hyper-connected society. While millennials and Gen Zs are constantly adopting 4IR in their lives and connecting to others globally through various social media hubs, churches have not yet fully revitalized to implement the changes and opportunities of the 4IR for the evangelism of precious souls of the next generations. Schwab predicted that local-based communities will be evaporated and many people will lose ability of empathy during the Fourth Industrial Revolution era. Schwab also emphasizes that the main goal of the 4IR is empowering people to improve their quality of life. So the society will be more human-centered so that the need of spirituality and work of churches will be greatly increased and more important than ever. Therefore, we as churches need constant innovation of leadership. So that happened yesterday, and also providentially, as I was preparing for this, Pastor West sent me a research just this morning showing the increasing number of Americans who are wanting to be involved with the church, and specifically among the millennials, of whom 30% today identify as nuns or duns. So nuns are the ones who don't identify with a religious institution, and yet they're spiritual, and duns are the ones who are just done with the church and want nothing to do with it. And also this morning I was on a meeting with leaders of new worshiping communities from around the country. We have a support group. We meet together every Thursday, and we were talking about how the work of Jesus today in many places necessitates taking Jesus out of it. So it's just this finding new expressions of our identity and of Christianity, and just our being as a church, and that has become a necessity today and not a luxury. So coming back to the words of Paul, this is how I read the need to be all things to all people today. And today it's a question of survival of the church, but also a question of our loyalty in being disciples and witnesses. So what would happen if we were to adopt Paul's strategy in our communal lives? To be Jews among the Jews, Gentiles among Gentiles, weak among the weak, and all things to all people. To allow space for flexibility and diversity. In line of what I said in my sermon on Sunday, there's always room for new ways to be and to do, to speak and to listen, to believe and to witness. Just new ways of thinking that we're sorely in need of in these days. So may we listen to God's call to be all things to all people. And may we be guided by the spirit of newness and change. God is up to something new. Won't we follow? Thanks for listening. Let me know what you think, and have a great rest of your day.